Welcome to GCCars. My name is Eric, and today we got the 2021 Chevrolet Tahoe Premier. We've, just a week ago, had the Nissan Armada Platinum, their full-size SUV, and this Chevy's full-size SUV. I mean, you can still go bigger, that's a Suburban, but the Tahoe compares a lot better to the Armada. So this is kind of somewhat, a little bit comparison video that's split over two videos, so it's part two. Anyhow, as always, before we really start off with comparison and all that, we start off with the launch. We always do that. This is a Duramax though, because in the Armada we had the V8, right, the 400 horsepower V8, which was pretty quick. This Duramax only produces 277 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque, but that's not really what it's made for, right? It's not made for power, so it has some other advantages, but let's just get right to the good stuff. Traction control off. Okay, let's brake torque it. 40, 50, 60, 70. Okay. It never did that. It never did that. I did a launch that was in two-wheel drive. That's why I forgot to go into four-wheel drive. Well, okay, you can light up your rear tires. If you wanted to know that, you can light up your rear tires. Maybe let's go into 4 high. Kind of forgot that switch. Whoopsie. But it was fun. So let's try that again. So we're in 4-wheel drive high now. $20, $30, $40, $50, $60. Okay, that's a better launch. I was a little surprised because I totally forgot to switch into 4 high. Because I always drive in 2 high in the summer, right? Because also when I had the Silverado in the winter, I always drove in 2 high. Because fuel economy is where most of the time I'm driving in the city, so why would I need 4-wheel drive, right? But of course, it's a 4-wheel drive vehicle, so you can switch between 4-wheel drive high, 4-wheel drive low, and have it automatically. Select whatever you need. So, car and drive it tested it, I think it's like 7.6 seconds to 60 miles an hour, 100 kilometers an hour roughly. Not super fast, but let's be honest, this is a 3-row SUV. It really doesn't matter. On the highway, we have enough passing power all the time, so it's totally fine. Is it as fast as the Armada? No, it's not. But this 10-speed transmission, I don't want to go over too much because every time I'm in a General Motors product, I've not driven it in a Ford yet, but every time I'm in a General Motors product that has this transmission, I'm just in love with it because it's such a good transmission. It shifts so fast, it's so smooth, you don't really realize it's shifting at all, actually. It's like, especially compared to the 7-speed we've had in the Armada, which wasn't bad by any means, but it's just, this 10-speed is just something else. So I'm just hands down a win in that regard. Of course, you can spec the 5.3 liter V8 in this Premier. You can't spec the 6.2 that's only available in the high country in the top trim, and it has a lot more horsepower. It has about 120 horsepower more than the V8. But is it worth it? Let's just quickly test how quickly the transmission reacts. 50 kilometers an hour, and I'm flooring it. There we go. Yep, pretty decent pickup. Works decently well. So like I said, plenty of power. So one thing I wanted to say though is because obviously if you spec the diesel, you're in for something else. It's not towing, because actually you only have 8,200 pounds towing capacity with this diesel, which is less than you would have with the 5.3 liter V8. And the Armada with its V8, 5.6 liter V8, had 8,500 pounds. So you lose about 300 pounds of towing capacity. It's not that much, but it might just be enough to make the difference. So if you're looking to compare those and don't really know which way you want to go yet, if you tow a lot, that might be a factor. But for everybody that doesn't tow that much, what's a factor is the fact that this Duramax is incredibly fuel efficient. I mean, in the city, okay, I'm averaging about 11.5, which is actually still pretty decent. But I kid you not. So right now, over 288.5 kilometers, I'm sitting at 10.8 liters per 100 kilometers average. The Nissan Armada sat at just under 20 liters. And that was premium gas. This is just diesel, so it's cheaper too. On the highway, I was able, let me just re-engage traction control. I was able to hit 5.5 liters per 100 kilometers. That was a pretty good stretch of highway. I was driving fuel efficient, but I wasn't like hyper miling yet. I was a little up and down. I even switched more gears. I switched on a different highway, so I wasn't just driving straight on the speed limit the whole time. So there was some acceleration, there was some deceleration, there was some turning. So yeah, it's insanely fuel efficient. This weighs 5,500 pounds and it can hit 5.5. Let's even say 6. Give it the benefit of the doubt in a negative way. 6 liters on the highway. It's incredible. That's way better than the official numbers. I think they're about like 8.9 on the highway. You can hit way better, trust me. If you just cruise on the highway, this is insanely fuel efficient. But I've talked about engine and transmission so much, why don't we talk about the exterior design? Okay, exterior impressions about the 2021 Chevy Tahoe. First of all, when we reviewed the Silverados, both of them, Silverados, get it. Anyhow, I said the headlights work a lot better than the new Chevy Tahoe and the Suburban. This one, and I stand by that. This looks pretty good overall. I mean, there's a lot of chrome here in the front, but I think it works. I mean, it's a huge SUV, right? So it works. Combined with I always like how the yellow, or is it yellow or gold? Actually, I need to look that up. Yellow or gold Chevy symbol always sticks out nicely. I always like that. In general, looks very good. We got some vents right here which kind of lead air through to create a bit of an airflow along the wheels, which obviously increases fuel economy. And yeah, looks pretty good. Pretty tall, of course. Kind of goes up to my chest. Speaking of tall, 22-inch wheels. I always think it's funny how they look timid on full-size SUVs, but if you think about a 22-inch wheel, they're kind of huge actually. And speaking of huge, it's pretty big actually. It's pretty big. I'm from Europe, so originally, right? You wouldn't get these size SUVs. You wouldn't get any full-size SUVs. You get mid-size SUVs, yeah. So like Q7, Explorer, that kind of size. Maybe now you get the GLS, okay, but you don't get this size. Not even speaking about the Suburban, which is even bigger. So this is pretty big for me, but honestly I got used to it. Like, I've driven so many full-size and mid-size SUVs in the recent weeks. I kind of get it. It's pretty nice. Like, I've not even had a single passenger in this, and the most luggage I've had was a backpack, a singular backpack. It's a pretty nice size, honestly. Endless room. It's pretty cool. I like it. I dig it. But no. Speaking of looks, back to that. What I wanted to say. This, by the way, is how an SUV is supposed to look. It's big, bold, and boxy. That's what I like, because I don't like all this roundness and this coopiness, looking at you Germans, that many introduce in their SUVs. It's an SUV. Give me all the space, and that means boxy, and it looks pretty cool while doing so. Let's take a quick look at the rear though. Back here we have all the badges. First of all, chrome Tahoe, Duramax, because we get the diesel and we get the Premier. Honestly, I think this looks pretty good. We got a hidden wiper down here. It's kind of under this end lip. It's not really a spoiler. There's this end lip, which obviously also kind of decreases vortices, right? Increases fuel economy. So that wipes down here. It looks pretty clean, honestly. And I always like when we have the model kind of centered and big. You could technically not have these two, and it would look pretty cool. But Duramax and Premier, I'll give them those. Look good. Anyhow, yeah. One little thing here. One little cool, neat little thingy is we can obviously open the tailgate, but we can also open the window. Just the window, which is great if you want to reach something through. Maybe you're carrying a ladder or something, and you don't want to have the whole tailgate open. You just pop it out here, put a little red flag on there. Wonderful. Or of course, I don't know. If you buy the car, you'll figure out how to use this, or why you would use it. It's very situational, but it's still pretty nice. And always, when I open this trunk, I always want to click here, and I always like, oh, where is it? It's down here, actually. It's down there. Opens pretty quickly. And yeah, there's a trunk, as one would expect. Speaking of trunk, let me just quickly snap to views with the trunk with the third row up, third row down, and with the second row down. I'll just add the cargo capacity for you there so you know how much room we have, which is, by the way, plenty. So let's close you again. Does it work? Just about. Don't want to move. And yeah, with that, that's a view of the exterior, which I think is pretty good. I like it. I think it looks pretty good. So let's go back to driving. Now I want to talk a little bit about the suspension and the ride quality. I was very happy with it in the Armada, but it was noticeably truckish. Not that the Tahoe isn't truckish, but if you drive it, like I drove them within like a few hours. I dropped off the Armada, and like a couple hours later picked up the Tahoe, and it instantly it felt a lot more, just planted, more tight together. Like everything felt stiffer in general. Not the suspension. I think the ride is about at the same level, maybe a tiny bit stiffer in the Tahoe. It's not uncomfortable though. I'm very comfortable here, but it feels the whole package feels way tighter. You feel more in control. You feel like the Tahoe will do whatever you want it to do at any point. I mean, given the constraints of it being a truck, essentially. But it is still, like, the way it feels to drive, it was night and day. This Tahoe is so much nicer to drive. Add to that the fact that that we have the 10-speed here, and I much prefer the Tahoe over the ride and the general driving experience in the Armada. It's just way better, even with the V8. Like, the V8 is nice and smooth in the Armada, right? Here, the Duramax can get a little noisy in the first two gears, but after that it quietens down, especially with the 10-speed. Like right now, I'm sitting at 1100 RPM. I'm sitting on not even 1100 RPM, driving at 50 kilometers an hour, and it pretty much all the time. It's just at those RPM levels, those revolutions. So the 10-speed just really, it's kind of like one of the magic tricks of this Tahoe, I guess. Overall, the Tahoe just feels a lot more confidence-inspiring. I mean, yes, you won't drive sporty in it, but even just, like, you notice that the first turn you take out of a parking lot, you instantly notice how much better a car might be handling, or just better composed, how much better, well composed it is. So that really, Tahoe beats the Armada, and by a long shot in that regard. But where it's really interesting, because the Armada was really nice at it, is the interior. So why don't we take a look at the interior of this specific Tahoe? Okay, let's talk about the interior of the Chevy Tahoe. And under the premise of comparing this to the Armada, which we've had last week, first of all, visually definitely not as impressive as the Armada's interior was. The Armada just has with its quilted leather and all the shiny wood everywhere. It just looked nicer and had more of the wow factor. But the Armada's interior was kind of just like really good and then really bad and really good and really bad here and then good. Well, this is continuously pretty good. Actually, very good. Let's say it like that. So like the average might be a little lower here, but it's consistent. So first of all, materials. We have pretty much leather everywhere. Pretty much everything is leather. And it's nice, it's soft, it's very comfortable. Our seats are nice and supportive. I like it. We have this faux wood, once again, that we've already had in the Silverado. Still think it doesn't look perfect, but it looks better in this one than in the Silverado, definitely. And especially this dash area, I think is really good looking, because we've got perforated leather mixed with regular leather, and then we have this nice modern looking design with the wood and the angles. It looks very nice and modern while not compromising functionality. Everything is pretty much a hard button, just like you expect in a truck, which basically is, right? You have all your switches here and there. You have like a 4 high, 4 low auto, and 2 high switches. One thing here that might not be to the liking of everyone is that we have push button gear selectors. So I have, basically a pull button in this case. So drive, neutral, reverse, park, low gears, and all that is over here. We don't have a column shifter. We don't have like a shifter in the center stack here. Honestly, I think I like it, actually. It works really well. It's pretty easy. It's low effort. I like it. The only thing I can imagine could be annoying, that if you're using the low gear, it's just buttons to shift up and down. So like driving, you're like boop, boop, boop. It could get a little annoying. Then we have the same gauges we've had in the Silverado, which with a big screen in the middle and the analog gauges around it. Plenty of information. Looks pretty good, I think, and is definitely usable. Our infotainment system, the same infotainment system we have in all General Motors products, which is still not the most feature-rich, but definitely is very fast. Wireless Android Auto, wireless Apple CarPlay. That's the way I like it. I don't really like using wired Android Auto. I know. I'm just too lazy to plug it in. Speaking of too lazy to plug it in, huge phone charger down here. Good job. And yeah, plenty of cameras. There's so many cameras, guys, and I love having so many cameras and being able to see everything. Like the person's walking up behind me that I saw first in my. All right, let's see what happens here. Hi there.
Hi there.
How's it going? Plenty of cameras are great, as you can see. We also can look at the movement of that person in my digital review mirror, which has a very wide field of view. It makes it easier to see everything around me. No, honestly, pretty good cabin. I like it. With, like I said, leather pretty much everywhere. It is very comfortable, and thumbs up from, oh, huge sunroof, which we can open. I don't have it open right now because otherwise the sun would ruin the lighting here. But no, it's really good. It's really good. I like it. Let's take a look at the second and the third row. Why don't we do that? All right, second row here in the Tahoe. And first of all, plenty of room. We can slide this forward and back, so this will be all the way forward if we want to have more room for a third row passenger. Even then, at 5'7", I have plenty of space. Up here, of course, like I said, we can slide it backwards. This is the optional captain's chairs configuration, which gives us a total capacity of 7 seats. You can have a bench seat if you want to have 8 people in this Tahoe. In terms of materials, though, still pretty much the same thing as in the front. Very nice. We got perforated leather, regular leather, contrast stitching, faux wood. Plenty of storage connectivity. We're full on outlet. We have USB-C chargers. These seats are both heated. We have our own climate control. It's really nice. And like I said, if we would have the panoramic roof open, we would have a great view of the sky right now. The seats themselves comfortable, and of course with an armrest, as these are captain's chairs. And with our optional rear media system we have in here, we could take a look at the navigation, or even set our own destination for the driver to go to. So maybe mom and dad in front says, hey, you guys can go to McDonald's, so the kids in the back can be like, oh, where's the next McDonald's? Set it up there, or you can just look at the navigation. You can listen to music, you can watch videos via USB, HDMI, or Miracast. There's plenty of options here. So this is actually really, really nice. You can also control all of this from the front. So if you don't want to have them on, you can just turn them off from the front. You can mute all of them, or you can lock them. So let's say you just start the movie and lock it, so the kids will just be able to do, watch the movie or watch the navigation, not mess around with anything. I like this. And if you want to go into the third row, which we want to take a look at next, there's 2 possibilities. As with the captain's chairs, we can either just walk through here, which is, by the way, a huge, you can almost call this a hallway because it's just enormous. Or we can do the traditional way, which you would do in like the bench configuration, right? You can just pull this down. Now you have it flat. Also great if you just want to use it as storage back here, and you can just climb over it pretty easily. Now for the third row though, back here we have a lot of plastic, but your third row passenger, what are you expecting? Well, we got an USB-C right here, we got a cup holder, we got a little storage cubby down here, and you still have reasonable amounts of space. Like it's not too upright, it's actually pretty comfortable still back here. But let's put out the seat. There we go. This is not all the way backwards. Let's put it all the way back actually, just to see how much room I get. There we go. So even with it all the way back, like the only thing is a little cramped is my foot room, because I kind of have to store them underneath the seat, which gets a little tight. But this much knee room, I have, like I said, plenty of headroom. That's all good. And if I sit like this, right, if I don't have a 7th person sitting right here, I'm very, very comfortable. Of course, that is with it all the way in the back. You can just set it all the way in the front, which was still working for me. Now I actually have more room than the second row passengers, and now I'm pretty comfortable. I just have to watch out with the rails a little. So probably this is kind of the best configuration if you just split one of your legs to the side. In terms of putting that down, we can either just pull a tab right here, or we can just push this button and it electronically releases. So yeah, plenty of space. The interior really is a point where both of these trucks kind of start to differ a lot, with the Armada going a bit more for this posh, luxurious look, while the Tahoe goes a bit more for the understated and kind of, it looks a little more like modern furniture, if you know what I mean. It's still, like I said, though, very, very nice. But one letdown in the Armada was the tech. A big letdown actually was the tech, and the tech in this Chevy is just a lot better, like a lot better. In terms of driving, honestly, I didn't really notice much of a difference. The cameras are definitely better. Funnily enough, the digital rear mirror is a little worse here, just a little worse. It's still super usable, but all the other cameras I have are so much better in this Tahoe. And additionally, I have like a gazillion cameras. I can see I spoke about an interior, right? I can see like probably 12 angles, just rough guess. But I can see so many, especially in parking garages. It is so nice to be able to see your front wheels and your rear wheels. Really makes a lot of difference in a tight parking spot or in a tight garage, like I said. So honestly, while driving, I didn't notice much of a difference. Both cars, their high beam assist, their lane keep assist, and their adaptive cruise controls, they work pretty well. I don't think there's much of a takeaway here. None of the two trucks has a standout feature. It's just that overall, the general usability of the technology and the integration, the kind of the functionality of the technology tends to be better in the Tahoe here. Everything works. Everything's fast. And just like in the Armada, you don't have a billion features in that. There's trucks out there that have more features, especially, of course, I mean, they don't compete, but the Escalade, which we will soon have. I'm saying soon since a while. There's stuff happening behind the scenes that neither I nor General Motors have influence on, which just kind of keeps the lane. It's coming, though, eventually. We'll have, which is the same truck, right? Just different interior and all that, and a lot more tech. And that stands out through its tech. Neither the Tahoe or the Armada do it, but the Armada stands out due to its lack of functionality in its tech, or it's kind of like the issues the tech have. Now, I've said everything I wanted to say. Why don't we just sum it all up, go to a verdict if you should choose the Armada or the Tahoe, and then send it off to the final thoughts. So I will see you there. Okay, final thoughts on the 2021 Chevrolet Tahoe Premier. In terms of comparing it to the Armada, I don't think there's a clear-cut winner here where you, under any circumstances, should choose either the Tahoe or the Armada. Kind of have to look at what you value in your truck, or SUV in this case, to see which one you should maybe pick. Quickly going through it, if you like a flashy interior, the Armada will be more to your liking. It'll be more impressive, and it just generally looks nicer. The Tahoe is still nice, don't get me wrong. I like the Tahoe's interior, just a bit more understated, like I said, a bit more like modern furniture, right? It won't wow passengers as much as the Armada's interior will do. On the other hand, if you plan to use technology in your vehicle, and the technology it has, the Tahoe is clearly the way better choice. It actually has a functioning tuning knob, which is very basic, but the Armada already got wrong. And it looked better. The tech integration, like I said, it's just kind of like all over the place in the Armada. So if you like tech, yeah, the Tahoe is the way to go. Then we have obviously one more thing. This is a diesel. The Armada was a V8. I can't compare that. That's apples to oranges. But the availability of the diesel plus the 5.3 liter V8 that you can get in the Tahoe kind of makes it a little more, you can kind of customize it to suit your needs a little more, makes it more versatile compared to the Armada, which only offers a gas V8. But in terms of pricing, this Tahoe here sits at $88,168 Canadian. US dollar price here. Yep, that's a $90,000 Chevy, and it's not even a pickup truck. I mean, it's based on it, but whatever. That's about $9,000 more than the Armada. That's quite the difference. But if you spec the diesel, you'll make the money back in about 3, maybe 4, 5 if you don't drive a lot. 5 years, you'll have the money you spend on the Tahoe extra back with fuel savings. Easily. It's just so fuel efficient, especially if you drive a lot of highway. In no time, you have that money back. Personally, what would I choose? I think I'd go with the Tahoe. It was a difficult decision, but the better driving characteristics coupled with the better tech integration just really kind of beat out the Armada's interior for me. Personally, I value those things a little more. I just felt, I got into the Tahoe and it instantly just felt a lot better to drive. I just felt a lot more confident, and it just felt a lot better put together, and it just kind of felt better. It felt better, and I like the tech being actually usable. Of course, you have to decide for yourself in the end. So if you like one of the two more, please let me know in the comments, and maybe let me know why you like them. Would be hugely interesting to me, because it's rarely we get to do like this kind of comparison over two different videos. Of course, if you haven't seen the Armada video, I think I already linked it. But if you haven't, it's just going to be in the top right-hand corner. Yeah, that's right for you. So up there. And other than that, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you liked it, of course, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss any more videos. We upload videos pretty much every week right now. Yeah, every week we got a new review coming at Fridays on Fridays at 11 a.m. New review. Plus we got POV drives, we got walkarounds, we got all the good stuff. So if you liked it, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hope you liked it, and I hope I'll see you in the next one. Thank you, and goodbye.